Okay, it's going to be a review of the new Nas album. It's called King's Disease, and yeah, this was definitely a pleasant surprise. I was not expecting Nas to come back this quickly and drop this level of an album. But yeah, man, it was really good. If there's any old Nas fans out there, or, fans of old school hip hop that haven't really known what to get over the last couple of years, this is something I would definitely rush out of your way to see. It's definitely worth buying. It's really, really good stuff. I would definitely say this has got to be the best Nas album since hip hop is dead. I don't think I'm being a prisoner of the moment. This has been very well received. It's definitely got a lot of replay value. This is actually the first time where Nas has collaborated with just one producer. I mean, he's never really done that. The closest thing would be it was written with Trackmasters, or maybe even Street's Disciple with Salah Remy. But for this guy named Hit Boy, I'm not that familiar with him, but he produced every track on this album. The production, you really can't say that Nas, picked bad beats here. I know Michael Rappaport and other people have kind of joked that Nas is a terrible beat picker, but that's the production is not an issue with this album at all. I really don't think you can. Knock him for any of the production here. But yeah, man, this is a short album. It's probably his second. I think it's his second shortest album in his catalog, right next to Nasir. Clocks in, just a little bit under 40 minutes. But yeah, man, I mean, the subject matter is really there. A lot of people knock Nas on Nasir for it not being lyrical enough and not really, going into depth about any of the important subjects going on in the world, but that's definitely not the case here, man. Now the album really starts off very soulful with King's Disease, and then you got some nice storytelling with Blue Benz, and then Car 85 is a great nostalgia track about I guess Car 85 is basically the type of cab a lot of the hustlers would actually use back in the day. So that was a very, that was a very nostalgic track. Ultra Black, when Dead End Hip Hop actually, they just, reviewed the track a couple of days ago. And before I clicked on the video, I thought, oh man, this is, I guess Nas made like a Blacker the Berry type of track, or Run the Jewels kind of, angry, track. But, Ultra Back is actually, it's pretty laid back. It's not like ultra hype. It's more of, I would say that the track is more of a celebration of just being black. And you kind of have that theme where he talked on distant relatives where everyone should, celebrate being black, even if you're not black. So it's a very positive song. It's not one of those angry black tracks. With I think a lot of people were expecting more of a Run the Jewels type of feel, as FIFO said in the Dead End Hip Hop review. And then 27 Summers. The one thing I love about this album is there's a lot of tracks that don't have hooks. A lot of these tracks are just, Nas just rapping over, just a very nice layered beat. 27 Summers, basically in reference to, it's been 27 summers since Illmatic. And I was like, man, I remember like that summer like it was yesterday. So, I mean, it's been 27 summers since the summer of 1994. So I'll be like, man, that's been a long time. But it shows you the longevity of Nas. And he comes off, when you listen to the track, it's very hard. It really bangs, but it's not overly lyrical. It's just about him, basically just, recapping his whole career in a braggadocious fashion. But it came off good there. And then, the middle of the album is kind of getting a little bit of criticism. You have Replace Me, Till the War is Won, and then you have All Bad. But I think, the more and more times you listen to these tracks, they really did come from the heart. I don't want to say, when you first hear these tracks, it's like, oh man, Nas is going back to that Life is Good type of crap again, where he's talking about Khalees and the marriage. But these are really good tracks though. Like, you feel like a lot of his past relationships have really kind of bothered Nas. The Big Sean guest appearance, at first you're like, man, this has got to be the weakest, guest appearance that's ever appeared on a Nas album. But when you listen to the lyrics and dissect them, it made sense in terms of the actual song. The Replace Me actually had a good beat. I didn't mind it. I think the issue a lot of people have with these songs is kind of the auto-tune type of hooks. But But if you can look past that, the tracks in the middle really aren't that bad. Till the War is Won is actually a great track. The little Dirk hook, maybe that's why a lot of people are saying that's the worst track on the album. But the War is Won basically about single mothers, and the war is not won until the struggle with single mothers raising their sons and actually losing their sons is not over. So the match definitely hit home. The song definitely hit home for me because I could definitely relate to it with my mom being a single mother. So I love that track. I mean, I don't love the track, but the message there is one of the best messages on the album, I would say. The All Bad track with Anderson .Paak, it took a while to grow on me. It felt more like an Anderson .Paak track than a Nas track, but it definitely... Nas's skill really showed in that song as well. I believe the track is mostly about his relationships with some of the younger women, how he just can't really having a tough time connecting to them, even though the attraction is there. So just some relationships is not working out. So yeah, I mean, you would say I think a lot of people, particular hardcore Nas fans, you don't really want to hear Nas rap about his ups and downs with women, but the bottom line is, these are subjects that have bothered him. So if that's where his heart is and that's where his mind is, I really don't, mind these tracks, to be honest with you. I thought they actually came off pretty well. But, like I was saying, a lot of the criticism is from tracks 6 to 8, because they all pretty much deal with, women in some form or fashion. The Definition is probably the most political track on the album, really going after the journalists that, did the Kobe Bryant thing in Bad Taste, where, they interviewed Lisa Leslie, and then as soon as Kobe died, they started asking her questions about the rape allegations. So he went after a lot of the, journalists that really bring down, the art form of blacks and hip hop. Also talked about global warming on that track. So The Definition was probably, one of the highlights of the album from a political standpoint. Next, we have the Full Circle featuring The Firm, the reuniting of The Firm. This was just mind blowing to me. This is a pleasant surprise. I would say that this is the best song The Firm has ever done. I feel like it's even better than Affirmative Action from It Was Written. And ironically, like, it's the first official song that The Firm has done since Affirmative Action, because Cormega, never really was part of the group when they did the when they did the official album. So yeah, this came off great. It had a refreshing beat. I feel like all the members of The Firm really, they really stole their show in their own way. It's hard to pick a best verse here, but I'm gonna have to go with AZ. I think once again AZ shows once again he's the king of guest features. I thought he came off great. His voice still, just like Nas, his voice still sounds fresh as ever. All these guys sounded great. The Foxy Brown verse was actually one of the highlights of the album as well. The vocals sounded a little bit drowned out. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with maybe her partial hearing loss, or maybe I believe Foxy might have gotten deaf in one ear. Maybe that's why the vocals sound a little bit drowned out, but the verse was good though. I think Foxy was great in that role. And it's just a shame when you look back at The Firm, like, if that they weren't able to really experiment with The Firm as much as I just feel like too many labels gotten involved. When you look at the first Firm album, like, there were so many labels that had to get a piece of it, like Violator, Sony, and then Dr. Dre, Aftermath, had gotten involved. Dre actually does a somewhat of a guest verse to end the song. It's not really a rap. It's more of like him just talking. But it was good though. Dre, really wanted to work with The Firm. But Dre even mentioned in 2001 that The Firm flopped on the 2001 Chronic 2001 album. But the biggest reason why they really fell apart was because of Cormega. For whatever reason, Cormega had creative differences with the upper management. He did say that he felt like Nas fell into a trap when he started fucking around with Steve Stout. So for whatever reason, if you want to go back to why Cormega and the Firm didn't quite work out, it was because of Nas's relationship with Steve Stout. Steve Stout was very much into more of a puffy, wanted Nas to really sell out and do R&B tracks and appeal to the masses. Nature was a rapper that actually replaced Cormega in the Firm. And I'm a big fan of Nature, but I just feel like Cormega gave the Firm, more of an edge. And, that was like the real Foxy Brown right there. I felt like Foxy after the Firm, really kind of lost her way. The Firm album just was not good for her, not beneficial to her. And the next couple of albums that Foxy released, she just kind of became classified as this, prima donna in hip hop. Even rappers like Jeru the Damager really kind of dissed her hard. But I felt like Foxy really could have been, a lot more respected in the game, like looking back on it. But yeah, the beat was refreshing. This was just a nice, pleasant surprise. I mean, it really kind of brought back memories to the summer of 1996 for me. I remember that I actually bought It Was Written on cassette. I was at a basketball camp and someone actually stole my It Was Written tape. And after they stole it, people were playing like Affirmative Action like every day that summer. So it brought back a lot of memories. This track for me right here. And then, the end of the album, I felt like the best songs on the album were 10 Points, where, Nas talks about how, Michael Jordan gives back just like LeBron does, but it's just seldomly shown. Basically, the message is that, you're not seeing every single little thing that a lot of these black icons actually do. So 10 Points. And then they said like LeBron scored 10 points the day the album came out with the Lakers in Portland game. But, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's actually one of the things that Genius pointed out there. But I think 10 Points is one of the best songs on the album. I just, that it's basically got like a duck down, what's the name of that group? The Boot Camp Clique, like the Black Moon, Helter Skelter, the Boot Camp. It's got like that dark Boot Camp Clique type of production from the mid 90s, and I don't know, I just felt like that was an amazing track right there. I thought 10 Points, definitely the best song on the album for me. And then The Cure was another great track right here. It comes off, you have all these horns in the beginning of the track. It's very like chaotic and over the top in the beginning. And he actually does a shout out to Kobe and Nipsey Hussle, which I think he had to do. It's funny, like right before that track, I was like, man, I hope he gives a shout out to Kobe before this thing ends, because no one's really went at Kobe the way Nas did. I mean, what Kobe had to go through was just crazy, back in 2004 with the rape allegations and everything. And on top of that, you have your favorite rapper dissing you, because, Kobe was a big fan of Nas. I've saw Kobe's, lists going back to when he was, back in the 90s. He always used to talk about how Illmatic was his favorite album. You see magazines where Kobe posts his top 5 albums, and Illmatic was number 1 for Kobe. So, to have your favorite rapper actually diss you at that kind of time where he's going through a rape case, it had to be really tough to swallow. And but the bottom line is, you saw Kobe go through a lot of positive changes after the rape allegations, and after Nas really went at him and insulted him in that song called, These Are Our Heroes. And, Kobe became a better person. He became more articulate. He became more well-rounded. He became more mature. I don't know if you want to credit Nas for all of that, but I would say it was definitely a wake up call for Kobe, for someone like Nas to really go at him and criticize him for the way Kobe handled the split up with Shaq, and the hotel clerk that adjusted the bathroom mat. Now you lose sponsorships that you thought had your back. That had to be really tough to take, back in the day. But Kobe got through it. But I was just glad that I just felt like it was something that he had to do. Because of the death of Kobe Bryant. So yeah, definitely. And the bonus track, Spicy, is probably the worst track on the album. And, you want to, give an influx of some of the newer generation of rappers. So this doesn't appeal to just, old, hip hop heads. So I definitely understand that. But yeah, man, this is a quality album. Great beats, great production, great subject matter, great replay value. I'll tell you that I could play that Firm song like over and over again. It just has such a refreshing beat to it. But yeah, all right. So my favorite track on the album, I would say 10 points, Full Circle, 27 Summers is just such a short but quality track right there. But yeah, the first half of the album, starts off with a bang. The middle of the album is more about, ups and downs with women and, paying homage to, single mothers. And then the last half of the album is, a little bit more explosive. And yeah, it just came off great. So that's King's Disease, the new Nas album. I would definitely say, and I feel like I'm totally being honest here, I think this is his best album since Hip Hop Is Dead. I would say it's better than Untitled. I would say it's better than Life Is Good, and a lot better than Nasir and the Lost Tapes 2, without a doubt. So hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'm out. All right.